Alabama is actually using a national program. This isn't the Alabama show. This is the national program show. And I'm going to give you the name, I'm going to show you the sources, I'm going to show you some of the involvement with this national program. Now what I suspect, and I think Ann Eubanks would support me on this, is during the implementation of the Common Core State Standards, we have what they call an education reform agenda. What I think, but I cannot prove this, is that the federal government, the Obama administration, also required or insisted Alabama adopt this national plan that we're going to talk about, because it's not Alabama's plan. They're just using it. They adopted this national plan to be able to address the diversity, the equity, the LGBT, same-sex marriage issues. Words I want you to pay attention to is, with this national plan, get your mind out of, this happens in 9th grade in this class at this school. When you hear about those, you're hearing about something probably by accident because the parents or the students somehow picked up on it and told the parent, and the parent puts a smoke fire out there in the yard and people start hearing about it. If it's happening in one school, I assure you it's happening in every public school in the state of Alabama. It is a planned, structured, systematic program. Okay, you got that? We're looking at the FARs here. It's affecting every school. And it starts in grade K. It ends in grade 12. And what they're doing is constructing the values, beliefs, concepts of our children. It's happening in every single public school in the state of Alabama. If you think you have a kid in public school and they're exempt, they are not, unless the counselors are not doing their job. So I'd say it's a fairly extensive program. What I'm going to talk to you today, I'm going to show you the counselor's mission, just so you really know what the mission is. Guidance counselor's mission. I'm going to look at their national plan. We're going to take a look at the national plan. I'm going to show you how the counseling program that we're using is aligned with the national plan. And then I'm going to show you the processes they're using to construct how the kids will actually think and act in the future. Here's 2 words I want you to remember whenever you hear the word competency or competency indicator. I want you to think of values, beliefs, concepts, attitudes. Because this is a packaging thing. Whenever I show you the word competency, just substitute values and beliefs, I'll be okay. You know how you can package something that sounds one way, but you have no clue what I said. Competency indicators is your values, beliefs, concepts, and attitude. I'm going to show you how the counselor's role has expanded in school. A lot of you think the counselors are just there to go down to the hallway and see a counselor if you got a problem or you're trying to get a form for college or whatever it is. I'm going to show you my bottom line. I'm going to show you the proposed legislation, and I'm going to show you what you can do if you are concerned, if you believe what I'm telling you. And if you don't believe what I'm telling you, come up here and let me show you in this document. You're about to see some direct quotes. This is a direct quote in the book. The mission of the Alabama Comprehensive School Counseling Guidance Program is to prepare a student. You may recognize those words. You've probably heard them before. Socially and emotionally. The only other word that they're putting in there, and you're going to see this quite often too, is academically. Why are counselors involved in academics? I thought that was a teacher role. You'll see later on in this presentation. But that's the mission of all the Alabama school counselors. And that's being run in every public school. Okay, there's an organization, a national organization called the American School. By the way, this is another quote. The American School Counselors Association, we normally just abbreviate it ASCA. And they came out with this thing they call the national model. Now you're going to see this on the next couple of slides. Basically, it's the framework, national framework for all the counseling programs. I suspect not only Alabama is using this program, I suspect just about every other state in our country is using this program, and every other state is about as ignorant as this state is that this thing's being run underneath your radar, and you have no clue that it's running. By the way, if I tell you this, it's no longer just Mike Parsons' responsibility, all right? If you know it and you do nothing, then don't complain. Now, the national model, they say, was used extensively in the development of Alabama's 2003 document. Wow, that's a long time ago, isn't it? Let me give you a story about trust, or maneuvers of deception. This is an old counseling document dated 2015. Back in 2015, the Alabama State Department of Education tried to get this document approved. Let me tell you a little story about it. They had to have 3 public hearings. They scheduled the public hearings when most schools were out for spring break in March. The first hearing they had was down in Mobile. They had 7 people show up. The next public hearing they had, I think, was that Thursday over there in Huntsville at the Huntsville City Schools admin office. We call it the Merge Center. I was there to meet them because at that time I had a large email following on what I call a SAVE database, Save Alabama's Values in Education. And what I had done, because I don't have a life, is I had went through and just made copies of all the quotes in the document. So when the assistant superintendent came to present this for the public hearing, he only talked about the tech training. And would you believe not everybody's going to go to college? I think anybody with any common sense knows not everybody's going to college, right? But that was his main point. He talked all about how good tech training is going to be, and I'm all for tech training. What he didn't talk about is about the other stuff I'm going to show you that's in the document. And we had such a large following there in Huntsville that night, they actually had to find a larger room for us. And during the discussions, because the people actually knew the content of what was in that document, some of the parents got outraged. I mean, one time I had to stand up and get one person to sit down because I thought he was going to come up and take a swing at the person presenting the public hearing. At that time, the person presenting the public hearing turned around and whispered in my ear, "We don't have to have the Alabama State Board of Education approve it. This plan is critical." And if you knew what I knew about the Common Core state standards and other things affecting our education, I would say this is critical. Some of them will not function for the workforce guidelines they're trying to push in Montgomery without this plan. I'm not going to get into that subject because you would really it would dilute the momentum of this indoctrination piece I'm trying to give you right here. There's bad stuff that's happening in education. This is dangerous. This is at just a different level than just bad stuff. Notice that the American School Counselors Association's national model, it's a framework and it provides all essential elements to get the programs going for the students. Here's some things you may or may not know. Counselors are agents of change. Are y'all familiar with words like social justice and agents of change? Do you know some very liberal organizations use those? I will tell you, they also want every teacher to be an agent of change, and I don't know. But in Alabama's own counseling document, in the state of Alabama, they list these counselors as agents of change. All right. Also, the counseling program is aligned with the American School Counselors National Model. And just to give a plug towards Ann there, because me and Ann are pretty hot on this education stuff, they're also aligned with the Alabama College and Career Ready Standards, which is actually a secondary point to this presentation. Just so you know, that's just a little tidbit of information for you. And the model provides the information that you need to implement, manage, and evaluate. Again, in the areas, it's going academic, career, and personal social development. Now, wait a minute. I'm sending my son or daughter, in this case, my grandson, to school. And what do you think of when you say you're sending a child to school? What kind of, do you think academics? Do you think career? Do you think personal social development? Which one of those are you thinking about?
Academic.
Just about everybody in this room is thinking that their child or kin or whatever relationship they are, they think they're going to school to get an academic education. Honestly, I can't tell where the lines are drawn between academic, career, and personal social development. It appears to me, this is my opinion, they're all interwoven. Now, I want you to understand that the counseling program is going to make sure that the students acquire competencies. What did I tell you when you see the word competency? What am I talking about?
Values.
Values, beliefs, concepts, attitudes. So this program is going to make sure these students, they say have every opportunity or multiple opportunities. They're going to ensure, you're going to see later on how they're tracking it. I'm just getting you ready for it. This right here, the counseling guidance program is an integral component of the total school program. Just so you know it, they're kind of indicating it's tied into all the fibers there. Now, maybe it is, maybe it's not. You don't have to get upset over that one way or the other. Maybe in the next few slides you might see what it's really saying.